So what must the orbit of a geosynchronous satellite be like? As was mentioned before, geosynchronous means that it is always located over the same location on Earth. So in this picture, on the left-hand side, there are points of light that are actually geosynchronous satellites. So in this picture, this is a time-lapse photograph where someone has pointed a camera at the sky and opened the shutter of the camera for a long period of time, probably an hour or two. So you can see that as the Earth rotates, the stars become streaks because their position in the sky changes as the Earth rotates. However, the geosynchronous satellites appear always in the same location because their locations are fixed with respect to the surface of the Earth. In this cartoon over on the right-hand side, you can see what a geosynchronous orbit must be like. So the two spots here represent two different locations of possible geosynchronous satellites. And in order to stay over the same location, you can see that the geosynchronous satellite has to remain over that single location on the Earth, and it must go around in its orbit at the same rate that the Earth is orbiting. This implies that the geosynchronous satellites are all at the same height above the Earth, so they all have the same radius of their orbit and all therefore have the same period, which would be 24 hours, the amount of time it takes the Earth to go around once. Another thing about orbits is that orbits always have to include the center of the object that is being orbited around. The center of the object that's being orbited has to be at one of the foci of the orbits. And if the orbit is circular, as is the case with geosynchronous orbits, then the center of the Earth must be at the exact center of any orbit. And in particular with geosynchronous orbits, the geosynchronous orbits must be directly above the equator with the center of the orbit located at the center of the Earth. So any orbit must go around the center of the Earth, and in order for a satellite to be geosynchronous, it has to be located above the Earth's equator. So that would be the answer to this question. If the geosynchronous satellite went over the North and South poles, then the Earth would be rotating beneath it, and it couldn't be geosynchronous. The satellite must be over the equator. It couldn't be over a single longitude. That wouldn't be an orbit at all, and it doesn't, emitting television signals is not a requirement for a geosynchronous satellite.